Hey everyone, in one of my previous videos we talked about how to make bad guys and how we can use a superclass to control the bad guy's movement and how we can have subclasses here to have different bad guys. Now in this video I'll show you how to troubleshoot or fix a misbehaving bad guy. So I've created this zombie subclass here, and when I run it and I drop him on the screen, it kind of spins around as he animates, and this is definitely not what I want him to do. So let's go through the steps of figuring out how to fix this and make him work like the rest of the other bad guys. So the very first thing I would do is this. I would actually reset my program and drop on a different bad guy and just make sure that that movement works. So this skeleton, it works. It goes back and forth the way it should. Let's drag him up here. Let's make sure that that wall is working. That seems to be okay. And that should work. I mean, we have two other bad guys that work, so it's probably not in the bad guys class. The next thing that I would do is I would actually go into my zombie class here, and I need to check my animation images. A lot of times I copy and paste when I type a lot of this in, so I just want to make sure I didn't make a copy and paste or a typo. So I have 4 images for the left, and those all seem to be right. I have 4 images for the right. These all seem to be right. And if I look in my animation method, I have all the right ones in the right spot with the right frame numbers. And I have all the left ones in the right spot with the right frame numbers. So I don't think it's a copy and paste error. So the next way to check this is to actually disable the animation method. Let's just comment it out and make sure that our zombie actually moves the way he's supposed to without the animation. So I'm going to press run like this, and he slides back and forth, and he should, change speed when he hits the end of the cliff, and we'll move him up here and check that wall also. But we know that this works. So this kind of helps us narrow it down that it's a problem with the animation, and after teaching this for, a long time, I kind of know that this is a problem with the sizes of the images that we're using in our animation. So if your animation code looks correct, but it doesn't run right, this would be the next thing to check. So we're going to navigate to the folder that has our images for this game in it. I'm on a Windows PC, so this is how you would do it on a Windows PC. I'm looking at my images folder here, and if I scroll down, here are my zombie images. And basically what we want to do is we want to check to see how tall these images are. So I like to change the view, so I right click and change the view to details like this. And then I go up here, and in one of these columns I just right click and choose dimensions. So again, this is on a Windows PC. That's what we have in the classroom. So what you want to do here is look at the second number in the dimensions column. And if we scroll down to my zombies, you can see here that this zombie has a height of 44, this one has a height of 40, 41, 45, 39, 39, 40, and 42. So just from experience, I know that our code works the best if the heights are all the same or super close to each other. And you might think that 4 pixels isn't a big deal, but that's not very close to each other in terms of this code. So if we look at my skeleton that is working correctly, its heights are all 43 except for 2 of them that are 45. So that's pretty close, and that should work. I don't think that these are close enough to work. So now what we need to do is actually edit these images and specify exactly how tall we want the zombie to work. In my classroom, I have Photoshop, so that's how I'll show you how to do it. But you can also do this online using photop.com. So in Photoshop, what we're going to do is hit open. And you want no other images open when you do this. You want Photoshop to not have anything else open. And navigate to your images folder of your game and find your zombie images or whatever images you're using. If they're all in a row like mine, you can click on the first one, hold down shift, and click on the last one to get them. But if they're kind of spread out, or there's a chunk up here and a chunk down here, you can hold down Control on your keyboard and you can select the images you want. So I'm going to click open. Each image opens in a tab, so I have all of them open here. And what we want to do is we want to resize them. If I wanted to resize them one by one, I could go to Image and choose Image Size. This is the same as in photop.com, so this will work there too. And what you want to do here is you want to look at the height and you want to pick a number that you want to choose for your image height. This specific zombie is 42 pixels tall. So let's make all the zombies 40 pixels tall. So I'm going to choose 40. And then if you have this choice to resample the image, do not leave it on automatic. Change it to nearest neighbor. That will preserve the hard edges. It'll keep the pixel art look of your sprites. And I could click OK, and I could file and I could save this image. And so if I save this image, it will go into my Greenfoot folder and I can just reset the game and start going from there. I would need to do this. I need to set all of these images to 40 pixels tall. If you're using Photop, you're going to have to resize your images, download them, and replace them in your images folder. So 8 images to resize seems like a lot, and that seems like a lot of clicking. So here's a faster way that works only in Photoshop. I'm going to go to Window and choose Actions. And on the bottom of this palette that shows up, I'm going to click the New button here. And we need to give our action a name. So I'm just going to call this Resize Zombie. And I'm going to put a 2 at the end because I already have one called Resize Zombie. So I'm just going to give this a name. I'm going to click Record. And what Photoshop is doing here is it's just recording the steps that you are taking when you work on this image. So I'm going to go to Image and choose Image Size. Now, when you record your action and you change the height, you actually have to change it. I can't just leave it at 40. So I'm going to resize this to 42, and I'm going to click OK. As soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to hit the stop button here. I want to stop recording what I'm doing. And I'm basically going to apply that action to all of these images. So I'm going to go to File and choose Automate and choose Batch. It's basically a window where we just answer some questions and Photoshop will do the rest of the work. Where it says play, make sure the action is the action that you made. Mine is called Resize Zombie 2. I want to do this to the opened files. It's probably going to start on folder. Change it to open files. For the destination, I want to save and close it. It probably starts on none. Change it to save and close. Do not do anything to this right here. Leave this unchecked. And when I click OK, it's going to resize all of my images and close them. It's not going to look like it's really doing anything, but all my images closed. Because I saved those in my platformer game folder, you can see all the heights have changed here. They're all at 42, so I can close this. What I need to do now is I need to reset this game. I should probably recompile it. And then I need to go into the zombie and I need to turn my animation back on. So uncomment this and then press compile. And now if I put my zombie on the screen, he should animate correctly. And he does. I should probably slow this animation down a little bit. I don't think zombies are that fast, but he does move and animate correctly. If you did all of that work and all your images are the exact same height and it's still not moving or animating correctly, the next step is really to look at your bad guys code or check the height of your image one more time. Remember that our bad guy is animating by looking at the ground and for the cliff. If your bad guy is walking through walls, what that usually means is that the midpoint of your bad guy is higher than the walls that you're building. So if you have a really tall bad guy and you want him to stop at walls like this, we actually need to make some edits to our bad guy superclass. But 99% of the time, if you have misbehaving animations and moving bad guys for one type of bad guy, like a zombie, but your ghosts and your skeletons or whatever else you're using works, 99% of the time, you just need to resize those images and save them.